certainly is. Thank you, Richard. We are down to our second non-full race at the day. We are making the Richard's winning classic. Tin tops and super speed cars here. Topped by Ron Burley is every 4 Escort RCs on pole. Alongside the fleet spitting mazda RX8 grid. Tony Skelton, 90 years old, is in the Renault Clio Cup car. Watch for him for third. Also Martin Reynolds in his Mark II Escort. Then Sam Hayward in the Renault Megane RS and Terry Waller in the Fiesta ST150. Neil Gardner and Colin Clancy come next in on the Civic and Ford Escort. The top 10 completed by Roy Richardson and Dominic Ryan. Lee Blue and Ian Seal in the Skills job next time. Milo and Kev Hunt is 15 cars in 15 minutes. First 2 races today and extra special support CNFC, Southern Super Sleuth and Tin Tops around the outside WRC as the overtake on the front row. Now, first the power gets on the way as many people expect guys to be on the mission from 5 minutes person Tony Skelton in the Renault Clio Cup car is on the third for the time being. Martin Reynolds in the slight yellow Escort R2 just powering his way around the outside, making 3 arrests. Skelton goes for both of them about diving down the outside of both Clive Hainsford and Tony Skelton to take second place. Was it the lead of the exit of the Burley turns in the lead, Skelton second place, third. There's a tussle going on between fast stars and Terry Waller, also Clive Hainsford and the Escort. That is the last playing 6th place. This is going through into Paddock Hill bend once again. 2 teammates in the Fiestas are going. In fact, this is Ian Seal and the Rick Skelsey, the 2 teammates in the Tin Top category. The Super Sleuths are continuing on both individual classes. You've got Ron Burley in Class A, Clive Hainsford in Class S, Martin Reynolds in Class B. Another new fast lap of the race goes into a 52.960. Off the road with an issue has gone Ken Hunt in the Volkswagen Golf GTI. Problems for the 144 machine. And also closing in on these top 3 is in fact Clive Hainsford in the
Mazda RX-8. He's doing a couple of quick lap times. Took him a couple of laps to get into the group. Once he's managed to settle himself in, he's looking a lot stronger. So 10 minutes, just under 11 minutes to go in this first of the two CMMC Southern Super Saloon and Tin Tops races. Little puff of smoke from the back of Clive Hainsford's car, but that's more a spit of flame, I think, rather than an issue. You can see the inside rear wheel of Tony Skelton's car lifting as he turns through very stiffly sprung. I have to say, Tony Skelton on this shorter Brands Hatch Indy circuit is giving as good as he gets with Rob Burley. His last lap was 3/10 quicker. I'm not going to suggest that Rob Burley is pacing himself to make this more of a race, but at the same time, Skelton, again, which I would stress again, is 90 years old. He's not racing like he's 90 years old. He's certainly got plenty of confidence in the car and his own ability. The threat now from Martin Reynolds, who is also one of the more experienced drivers in the field and using his Mark II Escort to full effect. Clive Hainsford too. And a nice four-car scrap developing now as this battle between second and third is just allowing Burley to ever slightly sneak away out in front. The four-wheel drive Escort, front-wheel drive Clio, and rear-wheel drive Escort, rear-wheel drive RX-8, of course with different engines and different layouts or so, all front engines, but four-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, rotary engine and four-cylinder. Massive spit of flame on the downshift. That's one of the most entertaining parts about that Clive Hainsford Mazda RX-8. It does tend to shoot flame at the back on quite regular occasion. It's quick, but also it is quite an entertaining car to watch, and it's quite a nicely put together car as well. That car's been developed a little bit over the years. There it is again on the overrun. 9 and a bit minutes still to go. Skelton got the advantage here. Jim Reynolds, who is keeping on as much as he can, but of course the battle will continue on as much as he can in order to try and close back in on Burley, who is either just pacing himself or just taking a steadier drive, because I think he might have a bit more pace underneath him in that car. He starts to turn it up, he might start pulling away a little more, but he's had play time now. So that gap is getting quite big quite quickly. Another new fastest lap on the race, 52.8 for Rob Burley. There's Sam Haywood, regular in this series too, in his Renault Megane RS. Running in 6th position, started in 5th, down one place from when he began. Looking strong at this point. Hill. And again continuing on. Back now. Couple of Honda Civics in the field. This will be Neil Gardner and Graham Richardson. Gardner ahead of Richardson. I think the Neil Gardner car, if I'm right in saying, I think that's an ex-Civic Cup car, Neil Gardner. Get the Dodge man in the whilst he's mid-late lunch. 52.7 to Rob Burley, but then Tony Skelton pops in at 52.5 to go even faster, so he is getting much closer. The gap at the top of them, between them, is 1.4 seconds. Skelton just hanging back for a second, then putting a bit more pace in, hanging back, more pace, hanging back, more pace. Just going a little back and forth at this point. So the 87 car has got the rear quarters. I've seen that car in this series a few times before. That car, the rear quarter livery on that, very, I'd say almost Cadillac-esque in terms of their livery or the logo of Cadillac, but unique colour combination on that car. Chasing hard for Neil Gardner in the battle of the EP3 generation Honda Civics. It tends to be the most popular Civic I think you'll find in club racing. There are others, of course. We saw Rich Hockley's Honda Civic in the last race. It didn't actually make the start. I think it got pushed off the grid to begin with, but that's the EK generation Honda Civic, Honda 4, this one. And just ahead of them as well, that is the Ford Fiesta of Dominic Ryan, I think. Now change on to third potentially, because Martin Reynolds is putting Clive Hainsford under pressure. And yeah, there's lots of flame, a lot of hot things going around this weekend, particularly with the flame spitting from several exhausts, particularly these two cars here, Hainsford and Burley. And Reynolds has got through to third place, so the Escort up into an overall podium place, not just overall but in Super Saloons. There goes Hainsford. Any flame from the back here? Not quite. Simple aero details just around the edge of the brake lines, where it kind of helps them a bit with some of the aero flick-ups there that have been put on there to help added stability. Change between the two Honda Civics, so a move for Graham Richardson has put him up ahead of Neil Gardner and up into 8th place. Next target, if he can catch him, is Dominic Ryan in that Fiesta ST180 with the Mark 7 generation, the same car that you'll find in the ST240 Championship, which is slightly more standard, not quite ST240 spec. And the top three all did 52.6s last time, but the quickest of them all was Rob Burley on a 52.600. So even pace between those top three cars. Showcasing kind of the full range of drivetrain options, because it's front-wheel drive, leads front-wheel drive, leads rear-wheel drive at this point, and they're all, in terms of speed and lap time, within 100th of a second of each other. Burley across, there's another new fast lap of the race. Skelton eclipses it further. So 52.6 for Burley, 52.4 for Skelton. Still 5 minutes to go. These cars are lapping. I think arguably they are some of the quickest cars you'll find this weekend. I think part of the Formula Fords, who in qualifying were lapping in the 50s, not the 49s, compared to Rod, who, whether he's going at 100% or not, we're not quite sure. He's probably just having an entertaining race out there, just giving a bit of back and forth, a bit of cat and mouse with Tony behind him in second place, I'd imagine. Tony, to be fair, he's giving as good as he gets in that Renault Clio. You'd expect from races of old with Rod to kind of pull away in that car and dominate by several seconds, but Tony's doing enough in that Renault Clio to not only keep with his pace but also be better. More flame shooting out of the back of the RX-8 as that continues on in 4th place. Terry Wallace had a quiet race in P5. Sam Hayward, Dominic Ryan, Graham Richardson, followed by Neil Gardner, and then Ian Seal in, I think, the sole remaining one of the two Fiesta ST150s, the white and red machines. The other one, I think, of Rick Skelsey, has dropped backwards. We also lost earlier in this race, of course, Ken Hunt in the Golf GTI, and Colin Claxton, another of the Ford Escort. That was the Castle Ford Escort. Now, both of the Civics have got past Dominic Ryan. So whatever happened on that lap, the ST150 to ST180 Fiesta has lost 2 places on that lap, both Neil Gardner and Graham Richardson. So Richardson has now moved up into what is now 7th place, Gardner up to 8th, and Ryan down to 9th, before they finish in the top 10. So just under 3.5 minutes to go. Gardner is keeping Richardson honest, he's just keeping a little watching brief behind, just moving this way and that to keep him into Graham with mirrors, just to remind him, still here, haven't disappeared, still in striking distance. And all 3 of those cars are about to be lapped, but the lead, Rob Burley, is already turning his way in through Rainbow Bend. Now the short sprint up Cooper Straight towards Surtees. Gardner back on the tail of Richardson, and if Burley catches him quick enough in one of the corners, that might well be a deciding factor. He's able to squeeze through on top of them as well. Burley drives to the inside of Dominic Ryan, picks up the place, picks up the track position. Skelton will come next. Skelton's dropped back now to, what's the gap this time now? It is 0.7 seconds, and Clive Hainsford now puts the fastest lap of the race in. Pops in from nowhere at 52.411. He's not making really that many inroads, not quick enough at least, on Martin Reynolds, I don't think, on the championship. And Burley hasn't caught the 2 Hondas yet. He will now as he turns in through Rainbow Bend again. This is on their 15th lap. And past goes Burley on Gardner. Should do the same on Richardson if he gives him the space, but of course those 2 will close back up again. Skelton doing enough to keep them in touch. He's now got the 2 Civics himself to deal with, who are into a fight of their own. And again going through the right hand, we saw the inside wheel being lifted up there by Tony Skelton on the Renault Clio. I think the penultimate lap of the race, I wonder, because lap times are into the 52s and 53s, so I imagine they're going to get this and maybe one more lap around Brands Hatch Indy. Clive Hainsford has found some pace to close in on Martin Reynolds for that final overall podium spot. I guess it's now for the privilege to be able to speak to Richard John Neal after the race also, given the fact that it's going to be either an Escort or an RX-8 that he meets. which one he'll get. I'm sure that Richard is waiting tantalising to find out if it's going to be Hainsford or Reynolds, one of the two. He's pretty assured who it's going to be for first and second, but the third, this could be the game, one of the changes. The leaders come across the line. It will be the last lap this time by they'll start. Because a lap is 52-53 seconds. They cross the line with about sort of 46 seconds to go, and diving down the inside with a last minute move into Paddock Hill Bend. Do or die move there for Clive Hainsford, who's now got himself up into third place in the RX-8 up past the Escort. We've also noticed that Neil Gardner has abandoned the battle with Graham Richardson. He's now into the pit lane with a problem, so sadly the scrap between the two Honda Civics has now ended a lap or two early before the flag. So Richardson will go on to take an unchallenged 7th place at this point. To Surtees for the final time. Skelton getting a little closer, but it looks as though Rob Burley has this under control. You can lose count of the number of races. It's the hundreds that Rob Burley has won around the circuit. It's his home circuit. He always takes the Escort out whenever he can. The Super Saloons, the CMMC, Super Saloons and Tin Tops, race number 1 at Brands Hatch. His victory once again for the evergreen Rob Burley. He wins by, in the end, 1.1 seconds from Tony Skelton in second place. And it's Clive Hainsford who takes the final podium spot in third. Martin Reynolds in the Escort had to capitulate after that last gasp move into Paddock Hill Bend, settles for 4th. 5th will go to Terry Waller in the Fiesta. 6th will go to Sam Hayward. 7th to Graham Richardson after he was having that race-long battle with Neil Gardner. Then Dominic Ryan will take 8th. Ian Seal will come across in P9. Right on the last lap of the race here, we can see that Sam Hayward is not that far away from Terry Waller. It seems as though the Fiesta has enough to keep them again at bay after starting in the first few rows. Terry Waller will come to take the final top 5 place in the ST150 from Hayward in the city position. In the first few rows. So the result from race 1 from CMMC Southern Tin Tops and Super Saloons sees Rob Burley, who else but Rob Burley, in the Ford Escort WRC taking yet another victory at Brands Hatch. It is well into the hundreds for him in his career. Tony Skelton, second in the Renault Clio Cup car, and third for Clive Hainsford in the flame-spitting Mazda RX-8. He picks up the final podium place. Martin Reynolds 4th and Terry Waller in 5th, and Sam Hayward and Graham Richardson, Dominic Ryan and Ian Seal, and Neil Gardner, the final finisher, who did pit but came back out once again, who was 3 laps down, he's classified 3 laps down, and that's the rest of the retirements, including Skelsey, Hunt, Claxton and Clue, who retired literally the race started in the first lap. So, out gets Rob Burley, thumbs up to the man himself, and from him, Tony Skelton, and from Clark Hainsford, our top 3 for CMC, Super Saloons and Tin Tops, race number 1 down there with Richard John.
Not for the first time I've spoken to Rob Burley to take you in. Haven't done for a while though, to be absolutely fair. So always good to have a catch up, and it looked like the car was behaving itself today, which was good. I'm continuing the run of having Scale Extric liveried cars that we're talking to. Rod, come over. How are you? Well done. Look like you taking it fairly easily out there, or was that hard work?
It was hard work. Brands Hatch Indy circuit is always hard work because you've got all the twists and stuff. But just looking at the ages here, 70, 90 and 70. I don't know what we're doing at this Young Boys Festival, but so nice to win with a Ford at the Formula
70 now, eh?
Yeah, I am 70, yeah. Wow. And to win with a Ford at the Formula Ford Festival, I think we did all right.
Yeah, we'll let you off with that one, yeah. There's no extra prize money or anything, though. But how's things gone for yourself and the club this year?
Yeah, it's been a tough year. There's no two ways about it. Obviously, entries were a bit down today because obviously the Burkett was on yesterday, so a few guys were there. And obviously a few cars are broken, which is unfortunate, but we're still holding in, we're still hanging on, we're going to be racing again next year. Believe it or not, this is my first outright win at Brands this year.
No way.
Yeah, we've had a lot of trouble, but Joe there is doing the tyres. He's worked really hard the last couple of weeks because he said we've got to go out on a high. But I've got to say, Tony and the boys, they made it a good race, didn't they?
They did, yeah. It was a cracking race, particularly for third place in the end there, with Clive coming through on the last lap, which very well timed move. In the conversation we had over email in the week, you said you're going off to New Zealand to race. So tell us about that story.
Yes, last race out there 35 years ago, and it's now the son of the guy who I raced with who's invited me out there. And the one track that I haven't raced at out there is Taupo, which has been upgraded quite a lot because I have the V8 supercar, and that hopefully hopefully will be the one that I'll be racing at on January the 4th. Possibly in a BMW, not too sure at the moment. We're just getting that sorted out. But really looking forward to it. They're wonderful people out there. They've got a lot of circuits and they're really enthusiastic. And
you're going to have a long break out there, or?
No, it's 2 weeks. That's all I can afford. Get back to work. I've still got to earn some money to afford to keep this thing going.
Yeah, right, you got to keep going, haven't you? As much as anything else.
Yeah, it seemed like a long race, but when the car's going right, like it was this morning, it is such a joy. It's such good fun. You get the chirp of the turbo. Loads of people today have been coming around taking photographs. And I've got to say, you've got a good crowd here today, and they're a knowledgeable crowd, and they're all coming up and asking good questions. But it's nice to see, you know, for this event, which is a good event, to see a good number of people here.
Yeah, that's nice. Loads of people joining us on the stream, and they will have enjoyed that race as well. I think we lacked a bit of commentary earlier on, so apologies for viewers for missing out on the commentary. Good to see you. They're going to have a word with Tony now as well.
Yeah, good. OK, thank you very much. Thanks.
Let's have a word with Tony Skelton in P2. Let's get you over, Tony. Have an handball. Tony, well done. P2. Enjoy your race?
Yes. It's quite good, actually. In the wet, I'll do better.
I think at one start, I didn't see at the end of the race, but certainly mid-race, I think you had fastest lap as well.
Did I really?
Yeah.
I ought to concentrate a bit more.
I think that means Rod owes you a beer, doesn't it, tonight?
Anyway, yes, it's first time I raced here for some while, I think now. You probably know the story of Silverstone the other week.
I wasn't going to mention that, but now you brought it up. Do you want to tell the viewers?
No. No.
Well, let Scott and Andy do it on the commentary if they do. But anyway, it's good to see you here. And it was an outright win, wasn't it, at Silverstone? You were first past the flag, weren't you?
Yes, first past flag, that's it.
There you go. We know how to word these things.
Yeah, by some 8 or 10 seconds, you know. So my car's very good in the wet. So, and it hasn't got the power that these boys have got beside me here.
Just driving skill.
Yeah. Oh, is it really?
There you go, more. Tony, great to see you. I'm going to have a quick word with Clive Hainsford before we get into festival moments. So, Clive! Hello, well done. Very well-timed move there, sir.
Yes, I know. I knew Martin would be difficult. Hot rod move.
Okay,
Rod, same as Rod.
Yeah, that was a few years ago.
Yeah, I knew Martin. I've raced against him so many times. I knew he would be difficult to pass, and I really had to pick exactly where I was going to get him. But no, we nearly didn't get out because the starter motor packed up.
Oh, well.
So yeah, I'm just pleased I got out there, and yeah, we got some sort of a result. So yeah, no, I'm really pleased.
And you're going to be okay for later on as well?
Yes, we've got a spare starter.
Oh, that's good. Tell us a little bit about the car. What's not standard on it, and what have you upgraded, etc.
It's probably easier to say. Yeah, the windscreen's standard and some of the bodywork and the underneath. That's about it, really. It's been a 12-year project, and yet again we've just had a new map in it, so I'm learning to drive it all over again. So every time we make a major change, obviously you have to relearn the car basically. But no, it's going fine. We'll be out for the next one. And hopefully Martin won't get the jump on me.
And what about next year as well? We've obviously got a race at the end of the day, which we look forward to after the festival final. But is there development going on over the weekend, and you guys keep carrying on?
Always. Yeah. Always. I don't think we've ever been out without some sort of modification to the car. Right. So no, it's a penalty for doing something different. But hopefully the fans like it. It's a rotary which people were normally scared of. So yeah, we're plugging away.
That's good. Rick Morris is the same age as you guys. He's out in the festival Brian Jones Memorial Trophy coming up. He says that the secret to keep going at your sort of age group is that, he said, lots of naps, cycling and running. Do you do all that as well?
No, don't do any of that. No, that's for him, not me. But I've just said to Rod, collectively, our ages for the three of us, at this rate, we're never going to attract youngsters, are we? If we're sitting at the front all the time. No, but thank you.
Thank you, Clive. Thanks for entertaining us. Well done. Good luck for race 2 a little bit later on. That is our classic and modern motorsport podium complete.